The House will attend a request for unanimous consent. Representative Wheeler is recognized. Legislative observation.
Mr. Speaker, it's easy when you're in the middle of a House session or in a committee vote and you're in the throes of the arena to get caught in the whole machinations of it, get excited by the process. But Mr. Speaker, this is a serious job, and it is supposed to be done by serious people. If you think I'm talking about you, I am. Because, folks, when I walk around this building, and I speak to the staff, I speak to the janitors, I speak to the people who have been here for a long time, including some of the most austere members of any legislature in this nation's history who have been here since longer than I have been alive. I hear the same things, complaints about the fact this legislature no longer legislates. Complaints about the fact that nobody can trust anybody else. The backstabbing, the political gamesmanship, it has atrophied this body to the point where we aren't able to do our jobs effectively. What do I mean by that? Do I mean we aren't able to get through the calendar and pass all of the pieces of legislation in a term? No, I don't mean that. We've been able to do that for the last few terms, and I believe we'll be able to do it again. I mean taking the legislation which has been proposed by the people who have been elected by the 1.5 million citizens of this state and processing that legislation in a careful and deliberate way. Mr. Speaker, I want to use the example of the House Environment and Agriculture Committee to speak to exactly what I mean when I say legislating. The chair of that committee does her due diligence to ensure that every piece of legislation that is heard before that committee not only gets its public hearing where every member of the public can come before us and tell us why or why not we should pass this bill, but every bill in that committee is processed through a work session where every member of the committee has a say on what happens of the bill, whether you agree with the majority or not. Everyone is there to listen to what you have said, and everyone is there to deliberate on the amendments which you have proposed. That isn't the case in every committee. And Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to listen to my friends who I sit at with lunch complain about the fact this legislature no longer works anymore. I'm not going to allow people who have been in this body for a long time to leave it just because they no longer feel like something can get done here without speaking up against it. So I don't imagine that all of this gamesmanship and all of these different little bits and pieces which is atrophying the legislature will change based off of the speech of a 23-year-old kid. But I do know that if all of us stand in honor of the building in which we work, then I believe this legislature can work again. I fully believe that. This state is an incredible one. And regardless of who takes the majority next year, I hope that this body will choose to return itself to a place where we can operate as legislators, working in tandem with one another for the betterment of the people who elected us to this body. Mr. Speaker, I have the pleasure of getting to watch Virginia Drew do all of the fourth grade tours and everything like that. And let me end by mentioning what she does every time with the fourth graders. She brings them to the seats right here in about the third row, and she says to them, all right, we'll do a mock vote. Usually it's about school start times or something like that, and she'll ask them to raise their hands. Kids, do you support making school start a little later? They'll do their little vote, and then they'll give their little debates. And at the end of the vote, she tells who won and who didn't. And after that, she asks them, well, you had friends that voted differently than you folks. Do you think that you can still be their friend? Every time, without hesitation, the fourth graders say yes. I don't need to agree with my friend 100% of the time to be their friend, but I'm still their friend. I think we could learn something from the fourth graders, and so I end by saying this. Are you better than a fourth grader? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.